You're listening to Haunted Tales with Skoto the Reaper. A Prophet Tells a Story by Banana 12. A prophet tells a story. Men are confused and kill her for reasons they can't bother fabricating. Another prophet tells the same story centuries later and frames it as truth. The men's descendants revere him. God sits at a table, an empty chair opposite him. God faces a wall, barren, cracked. The wall once had a window, but frightened men covered it up. God punished them. God ate their children and turned their women against them. This was decades ago. This is not a God you know. This is not a God spoken of in word. This God is no Jesus. This is simply God. God used that window to look out upon a kingdom. But now, God can no longer see anything. God sits in dark, silent prayer and waits patiently for braver men to come and break down the walls. God hates the walls. God wants to see the kingdom again and revel in its majesty. God was once proud of the people that occupied that kingdom, but now they have turned rotten and curdled with hate. Hate of God, hate of men, hate of sin, hate. But once the window was covered, God could no longer punish, only listen as God's kingdom shattered. One day, the kingdom visited God. They asked for answers. They prayed at the doorstep of God's home for months. Many died. Many went back home. The few remaining battered down the door and found nothing but a smoking black spot of death where God's chair once stood. The other chair was nowhere to be seen, and the table demolished into splinters. The walls red, the floor blackened by soot, the window peeking through its brick-and-mortar prison. All that was left of God's existence was a robe. They worshipped this robe. Violent men with false intentions volunteered to wear the robe. One was chosen to do so, and they nailed him to a cross and displayed his rotting corpse for eons. They called him God. The real God was dead, but they could not accept that. So they renamed God and put his skin onto any volunteer that would raise his voice. They nailed him too. Then God returned in the form of a man. Nobody believed him, and when he tried to prove it was he, they punished him. They split his body and filled it with vile things. Rotting babies, chicken necks, nail grime. And then they sent him out to sea. He remains at the sandy bottom of that same sea, drowned. No one remembers him. Men fought for who would be nailed next. Eventually, the entire kingdom had fallen into ruin, and the world had died. 112 years later, a flower sprouts from the oily remains of God's kingdom. Then another. It is God, peaceful, anew. God remembers nothing of the past life, and so God makes man, and man makes woman. Man hills, woman. God hides from man. A prophet is born, tells the story of God, and is killed for it. Nothing changes. Afterlife, void. Nothing. God, death, and a farewell to all.